I'm sure we'll find more salubrious venues during the course of the season than we have here, Andy, the beIN Sports Canteen. But when needs must, and we must, as we have promised, file at the very least in whatever form is possible now, despite the activity. Anyway, a weekend that saw for a long time no home win until Arsenal finally got us off the mark. Liverpool leaving it late and having an opening in many ways a little bit like last season's. When they got out of jail, and they could have got done today. Manchester City have won, not in a canter, but have been very impressive. Have you seen anything that suggests that the order from last year might be affected by anything or anybody? Bearing in mind Chelsea still have to play.
Yeah, we have to wait till Monday night for Chelsea, and I think we're going to have to wait 3 or 4 weeks, maybe to the end of September, before we really get an idea how this season is going to shape up. So many players coming back from World Cup duty, so many players that are not going to play an awful lot of football between now and September, and they're going to come back eventually, like the Germans at Arsenal, like the Argentinians from Manchester City. Once they get them all playing and once they get them all firing again, I think then we'll be able to get a better barometer about how the teams are doing. So I think for the first 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be a case for the big boys of just win as many games as you can, win them as well as you can, and if you play well, that's a bonus. What I've seen this weekend, I think of all the big boys that have played so far, that Manchester City have been the most impressive, no doubt about that. I think Liverpool, I expected this kind of performance post Suarez, but they won the game, a game they could have lost, which is a good sign. Arsenal were Arsenal. They didn't pass it quick enough. They laboured against Crystal Palace, but they got the win, which again is another positive for Arsenal. I saw nothing from Manchester United that suggested to me that this new system will change things, will make them championship contenders. But maybe we're judging too early. There were 4 or 5 players probably not available to Van Gaal that will be in the coming months, so they may get better. Tottenham, maybe. Everton, maybe. So I think from the big boys that would expect to win the title, City have been the best.
We'll have to obviously wait until Monday night to have a look at Chelsea. And it'll be interesting to see what Costa does and how much of a difference Fabregas is, and maybe those are the two that might just shake the order up. But it is Manchester United that I think we're all still talking about this weekend. The expectation from United fans was Louis van Gaal would walk in and everything would be fine.
Yeah.
Quite the contrary. And I just wonder, David Moyes has been with us this weekend, if he'd gone in with that team, bearing in mind what Ryan Giggs said at the back end of last year, we'll go back to playing how Manchester United do with 2 wingers, and historically that's always been the case. If David had gone in with a 3-5-2 and none of the width that United fans have come to expect down the years, what do you think the reaction would have been?
I think had they lost in the way that Van Gaal's team did, he would have got battered. It's quite simple. I'm not lying to say that. David Moyes would have got hammered for going against what's been the fabric of the success for Alex Ferguson over 25 years. So, but it's Van Gaal, he's charmed the press, the English press love him, they think he's a genius, a guru, but what he can't do is make a silk purse from a sow's ear, and the majority of these players were there last year, weren't good enough last year, and I don't think he's going to be able to make them good enough this year to be champions or to be anywhere near champions. And will the inclusion of Ander Herrera and Luke Shaw bridge that gap? Not a chance. Not a chance of doing that. I don't see it happening. They need many more players, particularly at the back. The defence doesn't look sound to me. That looks all over the place when it's put under pressure. I think he plays 3 at the back for Manchester United because he doesn't have 2 centre-backs he can trust. I've said before, if he had Pallister and Bruce, if he had Vidic and Ferdinand from their youth, he wouldn't be playing 3 at the back because you wouldn't need to. Where a couple of centre-backs like that, the simple, brutal truth for United is they don't have 2 centre-backs good enough in his mind to be able to play Premier League football in a back 4. Until he gets that, I think United will play an awful lot with 3 at the back.
When you say good enough in his mind, is it not just the case that, I think David Moyes found that out, didn't he? Just not good enough, full stop?
Well, they've played a lot of Premier League football, Jones and Smalling, etc. They've played that, and Johnny Evans. So they're all very experienced Premier League footballers. I think at international level maybe, and at Champions League level, at the very top level of Champions League football, they might be lacking, but they should in the majority of Premier League games be able to play 2 centre-backs. I was amazed they played 3 against Swansea. Swansea, who we all knew were going in with Wilfred Boney up front, and yet he played 3 centre-backs. I didn't get that. even with injuries. I didn't get that. He didn't need them, and he knew that in that half time, and that's why he changed it. He didn't change it because, you know, it was a genius thing to do. Any coach worth his salt would have changed it. You're 1-0 down at half time in your first game as manager of Manchester United at home. You're not going to stick with the same system you started with at the first minute. You're going to change it. He did. It didn't work that well. They got a goal from an equaliser from a corner, not from wonderful open play, because the change he made them a better side, and they lost the football match. So there's a lot of work for Louis van Gaal. He was warned that this league will test him more than any other league he's been in, and if he didn't believe it then, he'll believe it now.
Just wonder who would have been at Old Trafford had David Moyes still been there. He did an article in the Mail on Sunday today saying Ronaldo they were close to last year, Bale very close to, Fabregas he thought he'd got.
Yeah.
He might have done.
Royce, he thought he had.
There. Yep.
You know,
So-
I think now those were the players, and I think that was a Cavani might have been another one that was mentioned. So what they've done at Manchester United, I believe, is they've put the rebuild back 12 months. It's as simple as that. You know what David Moyes was trying to do, and David was right when he said today, I wasn't given the time to succeed or fail, and he wasn't. And I have a lot of sympathy for him, having taken over for Sir Alex Ferguson. He deserved another year. I said it at the time. I didn't think he should go. I said he should be given another summer to actually get the players he wanted. And then, if it didn't work for David Moyes after 2 seasons and he missed out on Champions League football, he would hold up his hand and say, you're right, I've got to go. But he was never given the opportunity. So what they've done, they've actually put the rebuild back 12 months.
And you were right, you did say that. I was more concerned, I think, for him than Manchester United. I just felt that it was going nowhere because of the various different forces that worked behind the scenes, and eventually they got him, didn't they? Let's conclude then with a title winner. You went for Manchester City last year and got it absolutely right. And this?
I've gone for Chelsea this year. I think that I, like Jose Mourinho, believe that they've done great business. Philippe Luis, terrific left back. Cesc Fabregas, proven Premier League player, proven international player, won't need time to settle in this league. And Diego Costa, I think, is just absolutely perfect for what Jose Mourinho's side need. They didn't have enough power, I believe, in the side he inherited when he took over. It wasn't a Jose Mourinho side. He's added power. There's absolutely no doubt of that, with the Matic coming back into the team and Ramirez in the middle of midfield. And make no mistake about it, Cesc Fabregas, although small, is a powerful footballer, and with Diego Costa, he's definitely added power at the front line of an attack that he had none last year. They went within 2 points last year without a centre forward. I think they'll bridge that gap, even though City are better, and I think they'll win the title.
And this podcast will be available each and every Sunday night here, wherever you found it, and we'll leave you alone in between times. But gives us an opportunity just to chew the cud.
I will see you next week.